Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to welcome you to today's IT Manager webcast entitled Business Solutions with SQL Server 2008. I would like to introduce today's presenter, Ram Ramanathan. Ram is a Senior Product Manager for Microsoft Corporation. Ram, you now have the floor.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Today we're going to spend a couple of minutes talking more about SQL Server 2008 and how it provides a trusted platform for your business. Before we get started in 2000, let's talk about some great news that we've had recently regarding SQL Server. For the first time ever, SQL Server has been placed in the Leaders Quadrant of the Gartner Data Warehouse Magic Quadrant report. So this puts us in the same league as Oracle and Teradata, enabling us to build and enabling you to build bigger and larger data warehouses on the SQL Server platform. With the new capabilities that we're introducing with SQL Server 2008, we continue to provide new capabilities that you can take advantage of to provide a more trusted platform for your business, and also enable you to deliver insights and information to all users within your organization. Over the next few minutes, we'll talk about all the different capabilities in SQL Server 2008. But first, I wanted to highlight some of the capabilities that we've had in 2005. SQL Server 2005 has had incredible momentum in the marketplace. We are already the data warehouse and OLTP benchmark leaders, both in the TPC-C and the new TPC-E benchmarks, but also in the TPC-H benchmark for data warehouses. We have several customers implementing multi-terabyte data warehouses and data systems that handle thousands and millions of transactions, like customers like Unilever and NASDAQ for the most mission-critical applications, and also customers like First Premier Bank Card and the Danish Telecom Company for business intelligence data warehousing needs. Given this momentum in 2005, and as we started planning for SQL Server 2008, we listened to you and we listened to our field and our partners to help define what we need to build for the next release of SQL Server. We believe customers are in the middle of a data explosion. This data explosion is driven by a confluence of different factors that's taking place together. In one angle, we have the proliferation of new types of data. This can be types of data, whether it's medical imaging coming from someone coming to an hospital to do a CAT scan or an MRI scan, or it can be in the retail and manufacturing industry, people who are now taking RFID tags and using it on every pallet they ship. Given this proliferation of different types of data, users of the data also want to consume this data in a wide variety of different ways. We all have our new smart devices and mobile devices allow us to consume this information on our mobile device. But we also need to consume this information also on whether it's office or on the web. The hardware industry responded to this by significantly lowering the cost of storage and provide new types of storage like flash devices that enables our mobile devices to become more powerful. However, we need to balance that with increasing regulations that we all face, whether it's SOX or Basel II or even HIPAA from the healthcare industry, that requires us to store data for longer periods of time and also store this data much more securely with higher levels of privacy. Given these challenges that you face, SQL Server 2008 provides an end-to-end platform that enables you to reach and meet these challenges. We provide you a trusted platform that enables you to run your most mission-critical applications with the highest levels of security, scalability, and availability. We provide you a productive platform that reduces the time and cost of development and management. We provide a new innovative policy-based management framework that significantly reduces the time administrators take to manage not just a single server, but all the different database servers you may have within your organization. From a developer perspective, we significantly increase the productivity to enable developers to bring new applications faster to market with integrated development environment with Visual Studio and the .NET framework, a consistent development experience from the data center to the mobile device, and extended support for wide varieties of information from documents, images, videos, to geographical information, and of course, a continued support of XML. Given you can now manage the data, how do we meet challenges of users who demand more answers? That's really where our business intelligence platform comes into play. We have the market-leading business intelligence platform, one of the fastest growing BI vendors in the marketplace. And we provide an end-to-end platform that enables you to deliver insights and information to all users where they want it, by integrating their data into a central data warehouse, or by delivering relevant information to enterprise-scale reporting, or by driving actionable insight to our analytical platform and deep integration with Microsoft Office and Microsoft Office SharePoint Server. Over the next few slides, I'm going to walk you through how we enable you to provide these functionality to your users and enable you to deliver a more trusted platform for your business. The first aspect of providing a trusted platform is ensuring that you can secure access to your data, secure your system from external attacks, and helping simplify your compliance needs by providing the right information to your auditors. If you look at some of the capabilities from a security perspective, with SQL Server 2005, we introduced strong authentication that ensures only the right person has access to your system. Granular authorization that ensures once the person has logged on to the system, he or she has access only to your data and to nothing else. We also provided encryption in 2005 to ensure that you can encrypt your most important information, like whether it's social security information or credit card information or personally identifiable information. With SQL Server 2008, we extend these capabilities by providing transparent data encryption. This enables you to encrypt your database and your log files transparently without affecting your existing applications and enabling you to leverage your existing investments, but provide a higher level of security on top of the data. With a switch of a key, you can now encrypt the database and log files, ensuring the data cannot be backed up or restored to some other system, and provide a higher level of security. We also simplify compliance with enhanced data auditing capabilities by ensuring that you can now record who has been logged on to the system, what data was accessed, what tables were accessed. So now that when we do have a security break-in, we can add the information to do our investigation. And of course, with our integration into our enterprise policy-based management framework, you can now define a consistent set of security policies, auditing policies, and data archival policies from a central location, and ensure that all databases within the organization can now subscribe to these policies, and you can ensure a higher level of compliance. A secure platform also requires that we provide a reliable platform for your data, ensuring that you have constant access to your data in spite of unplanned downtime, so you can have constant access to your data, reducing your planned downtime so you provide a higher level of availability to your users, and also ensuring that you can now, once we do have an unplanned downtime, you can now recover from these failures much faster. With SQL Server 2005, we introduced database mirroring that enables you to mirror your data not just within your own data center, but across geographically dispersed data centers, providing a higher level of availability to end users. With 2008, we have significantly enhanced the capabilities in database mirroring, so you can now do operations like automatic page repair that enables you to now recover a corrupted data page that you stored in your SAN or storage area network, and recovering that gracefully from your mirror database without affecting your existing users. We're also taking advantage of the capabilities in Windows Server 2008 to ensure that we can now provide a higher level of availability with providing support for 16 node clusters. With these capabilities, both Windows Server and SQL Server provides a higher level of availability to your users. The next aspect we want to talk about is, now that we provide a secure and reliable platform, how do we provide a platform that can scale for your business? With SQL Server 2005, we provide a highly efficient and scalable platform that can allow customers to run multi-terabyte data warehouses and reach thousands of users on mission-critical systems. With SQL Server 2008, we're proud to introduce data compression that provides a more efficient data storage mechanism that significantly reduces your storage costs and also increases your query performance in I/O-intensive workloads like data warehousing. Another aspect of ensuring that you can optimize your performance is providing you the prescriptive guidance through tools like Best Practices Analyzer and Query Analyzer to ensuring that your administrator can easily troubleshoot performance. With SQL Server 2005, we provided dynamic management views that provides you a snapshot into the performance of a system at any point in time. With 2008, we are proud to introduce performance data collection framework that collects performance data not just from your database, but from all the different performance indicators from your operating system, and integrates that and consolidates that into a central repository. We then provide a rich set of management reports to administrators so they can not just look at performance at a point in time, but also benchmark their performance to last week or last year and analyze the performance over time. Another aspect of performance is to ensure that once we do have a system up running, we get a predictable response from that system. With plan freezing, a new feature in SQL Server 2008, we can now promote a stable query plans that you now measured and optimized in your staging environment to promote that to production, so you can ensure a consistent level of performance from both staging to production, or seamlessly upgrade from SQL Server 2005 to SQL Server 2008 by ensuring a consistent level of performance with our new plan freezing functionality. Another aspect of predictable performance is a concept called resource governor. When we are now in server consolidation, it's a key trend that all of us face within our organization. We are consolidating more and more applications onto a single server or sometimes onto a single database. How do we ensure when we have multiple different applications on the same database, we can provide a consistent level of performance across each one of these applications? And that's really where a new feature in SQL Server 2008 called Resource Governor comes into play. With Resource Governor, you can now define limits on the different resources consumed by the application, like CPU and memory, and ensure that each application consumes only the resources it has been allocated to, and nothing else. So you can now define a right level of performance for your financial reporting application or to your ad hoc queries driven by your power users. Let's drill down into this feature more in the demo. Let's go ahead and bring this up. What you're looking at here is a performance indicator. With this performance indicator, we are actually showing two different applications. One is a red application, which can be a financial reporting application that provides key information to your CFO and to the finance department. And the blue application can be either a set of power users executing ad hoc queries against your database.
Hi, Ram. I just want to step in for one quick moment.
Yep.
And let everyone know that if they want to view this at full screen, they just need to hit their F5 key, and to go back to the regular screen size, hit the F5 key again.
Thank you. Given that we have two different applications on the same system, what we have here is actually we're charting the CPU resources consumed by each application. As you can see, now we have evenly divided the resources across both of them. Now let's take the scenario where we're now at the end of the month, and we now have to provide an additional set of reports to more users in the financial reporting side. And so, for example, the CFO now wants to ensure every single department head gets the latest financial reports, or we have to now deliver reports to all divisions within your global organization. How can we achieve that? So let's go back to Resource Governor, and what you look in here is SQL Server Management Studio. You can also define that, you can also modify the resources easily through our Management Studio interface, but me being a geek at heart, I wanted to show you guys some SQL statements and scare all of you. So here, what you're looking at is 3 simple statements, where what I'm trying to do is reduce the CPU resources consumed by the ad hoc queries to 20%, and now take those resources and allocate that to my financial reporting application. So I'm going to now provide 80% of my CPU resources to my financial reporting application, and just consume 20% of the resources on my ad hoc queries. As you can see, we can dynamically reallocate these resources through Resource Governor without actually having to bring down your system to execute any of this. Let the query execute. It's going through this process. So and then obviously it's completed. Now let's go back to Performance Monitor and look at how the resources have been allocated. As you can see, with just instantaneously, we have now provided more resources to the financial reporting application and now reduced the resources consumed by the ad hoc queries. So you can now reach more users with the information you need on the financial reporting application. But at the same time, you can ensure that a power user executing ad hoc queries will not affect the other application by generating a runaway query, because all he or she has access to is only the resources they have been allocated. Let me go ahead and stop some of these queries running on my system so I can get ready for my next demonstration for you. Let's stop that. And okay, now we come back to the webcast, and we'll start the next aspect. So what I just walked you through is first showing how we provide you a secure platform for your data, a reliable platform that ensures that your users have constant access to their data with the highest levels of availability, and a scalable platform that ensures that you can reach thousands of users and scale across growing volumes of data with a predictable response to your end user. Now let's take a look at how do we provide a productive platform that reduces the time and cost of managing and development for data applications. The first aspect I want to talk to you guys about is how can we help you reduce your management costs of your data infrastructure. A key aspect of that is how do we enable the administrators to spend less time on the day-to-day operations and free them up to either manage more servers within the organization or manage additional applications that you want to bring into market. With SQL Server 2005, we introduced a new visual management environment in SQL Server Management Studio that provides a visual interface to manage your single server, all the different servers within your organization. We also enabled you to automate operations with a rich set of scripting capabilities, and we extend that in SQL Server 2008 to integrate with PowerShell, the new scripting language in Windows Server. Here's another part of manageability is how do we ensure that once you define a configuration, database configuration or query performance configuration or security configuration, all the different databases within your organization can now subscribe to that. With a new policy-based management framework in SQL Server 2008, you can actually define these policies in a single server and then publish them to your organization. Then all the different databases within your organization can now subscribe to these policies, and we automatically ensure that these databases are in compliance against these policies or take corrective action as needed. Let's go and take a look at a demonstration of that and show how the new declarative management framework comes into play. The first thing you'll notice in the new SQL Server Management Studio is this concept called policy management. With the new policy management framework, you can define a wide variety of different policies, all the way from database status best practices or database performance best practices, to also security policies around password settings, or even how do we do access control policies, and you can define these policies in a central location. Now let's go and take a look at a database that is subscribed to these policies. So if you actually go bring up a database and look at categories, you can actually look at all the different categories that this database is subscribed to. Let's click OK. Now let's think of a new person coming to your organization, or someone who's not an administrator who now wants to modify something in the policies. So let's take the case where this new person comes in. They want to go in and change some options on this database. They change to true. They close. So basically what they did was change auto close to true. They click OK. Now let's go back to databases and let's refresh this. Refresh this again. The first thing you'll notice is that the database is actually, we clearly show this database has violated a policy that we have put in place. So since normally what this would have occurred is we would not even have known that someone has changed a configuration until the CFO calls the CIO and says, hey, my financial application is no longer working. Given that we know
I need to step in for a second.
Yep.
We're not seeing your demo.
Sorry, let me go back.
There it is.
Perfect. Sorry, let me go back and start over again. So first thing, as you notice, the things I talked about was the different kinds of policies that you have in place. So with the new Management Studio, you can actually see all the different policies that we have put in place through a single Management Studio. You can now subscribe and you can now publish these policies to all the different databases that you have within your organization. So in this case, let's bring up this database. Let's bring it up, and then you can say, sorry, let's go and look at all the policies that this database is subscribed to. And you can see easily, you can see what are the different policies that we have in place, what are the things that has been enabled, what have we subscribed to. So now when an administrator comes in and modifies, say, a database option, we can easily show that this database is now in violation of a policy that this database is subscribed to. So let's go and look at what this database is subscribed to and what has been violated. We'll bring up view. You can clearly see it shows what policy has been violated. Let's go ahead and run that. And we look at details. And we can see that what has happened is someone has changed the database setting for auto close from false to true. And this has caused this database to become in violation of a policy that we have defined. Let's close that. But rather than kicking the database administrator back to the command prompt to fix this problem, we can take the corrective action right here with the click of a button, and we can ensure that this database is now back in compliance with the policy that we have defined. Let's close that. Let's go ahead and refresh this. And you can now see that this database is back in compliance with the policy. Let's go back and take a look at the settings. We can see that we've changed the settings back to false. So as you can see, with a few clicks of the button, we're now able to bring this data up. We're now able to not only monitor violations of compliance against policies, but also take the corrective action to bring this database back in compliance. Another aspect, now that we talked about how we make our life easier for administrators, let's see how we can make developers bring new applications to market. One of the most common scenarios that many developers face is really around accessing the data. This is normally one of the most common operations most organizations do. And how do we reduce the code that you have to do to access your data? That's really where the new innovations around language integrated query and entities comes into play. These allow you to define your business role of, say, customers, product, promotions as a set of business entities instead of making a developer work with tables, rows, and columns. These entities can now be accessed in a natural manner through the programming language, whether it's C# or .NET, and then you can now reduce the amount of the access code that your developer has to write. Another aspect of making life for developers is SQL Server has always had a rich history of interoperability, ensuring that a wide variety of different programming languages have access to your data. We provided ADO.NET support for your .NET applications, JDBC support for J2EE and Java applications. And of course, with SQL Server 2009, we're now proud to introduce PHP support for organizations creating web applications using the PHP language. Another aspect of that is significantly enhance our Transact SQL with SQL Server 2008 with a rich set of capabilities around date and time zone support, around ensuring that you can easily access your data through table value parameters, and a wider set of other activities. Another aspect is how do we enable you to create new set of applications with a new Microsoft Sync services. This is a new set of technologies that we introduced last week at the Dev Connections and Tech Ed Europe that enables you to bring the power of offline synchronization that we've normally used to run our email on our mobile devices to a wide variety of different applications. Take an example of a salesperson who is now leaving for the day to meet his customers, and you can download all the customer activity onto his mobile phone. And as he interacts with his customers, he can record and use the information of his customer interaction and record that onto his mobile device. And once he's back at the hotel or back to his office, he can now synchronize his activity for this customer back to the data center. With the new SQL Server Compact Edition that we introduced in November, and we significantly enhanced that for SQL Server 2008, along with the sync services through the Microsoft Synchronization Framework, and our conflict resolution that we provide in SQL Server 2008 in the data center, we provide an end-to-end synchronization platform for new kinds of applications. Another aspect of providing productivity for developers, how do we manage the rich set of different data that you have within your organization? This can be unstructured information like documents, images, text files, Word documents, Excel documents that we now need to manage in a consistent manner. Let's take an example of a patient coming to an hospital who does an MRI scan or a CAT scan. That single event generates hundreds of images that needs to be managed as part of the patient record. We need the same level of security on top of this unstructured information as we have on the patient's allergies or insurance information. With the new file stream data type, we bring the power of the file system into the SQL Server database. So you can actually manage your unstructured information and set of files in the file system, but you can now provide a rich set of security services, backup services, and manageability on top of this data. Another significant improvement that we've done in SQL Server 2008 is provide you a new set of capabilities around spatial to now enable you to build location of our applications. If you think about it, any application that stores an address can take advantage of this new location of our capabilities. Let me walk you through a sample scenario, the new spatial capabilities that we have in SQL Server 2008. In this example, what I want to walk you through is a customer who has a series of coffee stores in the Seattle region. And as you can see, this company now wants to actually see how they can. Let me go to full screen. And this customer actually now wants to look at how to open a new store that they have been planned. So basically, we have a series of coffee stores, and as part of the business planning process, the analyst wants to identify where should you open the next coffee store. You can also take an example if you're a retailer and you want to look at the marketing person who wants to figure out, now that they're opening a new retail store, how do I create a set of campaigns targeting the highest income customers in that region. And we're able to do that with the new spatial capabilities that we have in SQL Server 2008. The first thing you'll notice in this the table called site table, where I'll actually store the location of every single store into this table, you'll see a new data type called geography data type. This geography data type actually stores the geographical coordinates of every single store in the Seattle region. Now let's go look at how we can actually take advantage of this information. Let's go back to my desktop, and let's bring this up. Let me choose the right database. What I'm going to do is go ahead and retrieve this information for the database. The first thing you'll notice is our new intelligence capabilities that we introduced in SQL Server 2008. So let's go ahead and choose that, execute it. And you can see that we now actually store every single store location as a series of points, storing both the latitude and longitude of that store. Given this information, we can now ask questions to say, give me all the coffee stores that are, say, within 1,000 meters of Interstate 5. This is a pretty tough question to ask in normal operations. It will require a lot of custom development and expensive processing. But with the new spatial functions that we introduced in SQL Server 2008 and the new spatial indexes, that we provided in SQL Server 2008, we can also execute this operation in the database and ensure fast query performance. Now that we have this data, let's go and look at this information. As you can see, what we have is looking at is actually a virtual Earth map showing the map of Seattle along with the location of each store. So you can actually drill in and drill out and look at the location of each store. Now let's go ahead and ask the same question we asked before to say, give me all the stores within 1,000 meters of Interstate 5. Let's execute that. Let's drill in. And here you can see that we've only identified the stores that are, say, within 1,000 meters of Interstate 5. So if you actually now say I want only within 500 meters, let's execute as that and drill in again. You can see that we have less number of stores that we highlight because basically they're as close to 500 meters. As you can see, with the new capabilities that are introduced in SQL Server 2008 and our integration with Virtual Earth and integration with the .NET framework, we are now enabling location-aware applications to move just from being a niche area to the mainstream. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our business intelligence capabilities that we're introducing in SQL Server 2008. As you know, SQL Server 2005 is already a leader in data warehousing. And with the new capabilities we introduce in both in SQL Server integration services and in the SQL Server engine, we can now enable you to build bigger data warehouses that integrate larger volumes of data, cleanse your data, and manage your data much more efficiently. With the new SQL Server 2008 integration services, we provide a rich set of profiling capabilities that enables you to identify dirty data before it actually gets loaded into your data warehouse. We also provide a higher scalability and performance, ensuring that you can now integrate faster and larger volumes of data much faster. We also introduce a change data capture that enables you to capture operational changes in your backend source systems transparently without actually affecting them by creating new columns or creating triggers. Given we can now load this data faster in a data warehouse, we can also manage the data much more efficiently through data compression, as we talked about earlier, resource governor that actually enables you now to manage different workloads, whether it's reporting, ad hoc queries, or analysis on a single data store. We also enable you to manage your aggregation in your summary tables much more efficiently by improvements in index views, and also closer integration with analysis services that provides you the faster aggregate cache. Of course, all of this we provide with much faster query performance by introducing new set of star join query optimizations that enables you to provide much faster query performance in common data warehousing scenarios, and richer partitioning capabilities that ensures higher level of parallelism for faster performance on large tables using partitions. Once you've actually integrated and consolidated the data, how do we now deliver this information to all users within the organization? That's really where our enterprise reporting platform and SQL Server reporting services comes into play. As you know, SQL Server reporting services was introduced in 2004, and in 2005 we provided a rich set of end-user reporting capabilities and integration with Microsoft Office SharePoint Server. In SQL Server 2008, we significantly enhanced our capability for users to auto reports with enhanced designers and rich and flexible layouts. We've also, of course, provided enterprise scale management infrastructure for these reports, so you can now manage them consistently from a single management tool, scale out your reporting servers to provide a higher level of scalability and availability, and also simplify management tools for you to deploy these reports much more efficiently. Of course, from an end user perspective, we provide rich visualizations with new set of charts and gauges, and ability to render these reports directly in Microsoft Office and share them to all users within the organization through integration with Microsoft Office SharePoint Server. Let's now take a demonstration and show the different capabilities of the new report designer. The first thing you'll notice in the new report designer, let me make the screen a little bigger so you can actually see that. All right. My virtual machine is not behaving. But what you can see is a new report designer that has a similar familiar look and feel of Microsoft Office. So you can do aspects like preview the report directly inside the report designer. Let's go ahead and take a look at the report. As you can see, we also provide a rich set of formatting capabilities through our new flexible layout designer that enables you to not only dynamically add rows but also columns onto a single report. In this report, what you're looking at is a graph that shows the product sales across different categories. As you can see, the product sales for bikes is much higher than the product sales for components and accessories. This almost looks like number of units shipped of SQL Server compared to Oracle and IBM. As you know, we ship more units of SQL Server than Oracle and IBM combined. Let's go to design mode. And let's ensure that we can actually display both the information of product sales for bikes and components on a single chart. This would normally require your report developer to break that into two different charts. Let's go to chart. Let's go to value access properties. Let's enable scale breaks. Okay. And then we come back to preview mode. And as you can see, with just a few clicks, we're easily able to now show the information for product sales all the way from 57 million for bikes to around 100,000 for product sales of accessories on a single chart. Let's go ahead and modify this report, and let's go ahead and change things in this report. Let's say I now want to look at quantity of orders shipped across different product categories. Let's go ahead and modify this chart, and as you can see, we provide a rich set of new chart types for users to use. Let's go ahead and create a 3D chart type. And let's also now say I want to look at quantity not just across different product categories, but also across different years. And now let's preview this chart. As you can see, with just a few clicks, we get a rich set of information that you can now display to your end user with rich visualizations and provide highly impactful reports that users can now make better decisions. Let's come back. And now let's go back to the next aspect of a business intelligence platform, which is really an analysis platform. With the new SQL Server analysis services in 2008, we continue to build on the momentum that analysis services has added in the marketplace. As you know, analysis services is the #1 OLAP server in the market. We provide a rich and scalable analysis platform that enables you to your users to interact with the data directly in Microsoft Office. We also enable you to build a rich set of applications with a rich partner ecosystem to build performance management applications through integration with Microsoft Office Performance Point Server. With 2008, we provide you additional prescriptive guidance so your developers can build a highly efficient cube from the beginning, ensuring that you can reach more users and analyze more data. We significantly enhance our scalability and performance of analysis services to ensure we can now reach these users by delivering the information much faster and consolidate higher levels of data inside a single analysis cube. Of course, all this information is continued to ensure that you can add this data through Microsoft Office SharePoint Server. Let's now take a look at our integration to Office and SharePoint Server in the next slide. So here, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Excel, 2007. Ah, that's not what I want to do. I want to bring up Excel. Let's do that. Let me wait for Excel to come up. As you can see, this is just a regular Excel 2007 interface. I'm now going to add into the new pivot table here, and I'm now going to use a connection to my AdventureWorks data warehouse, to AdventureWorks cube that I built in analysis services. So let's go and browse for more, connect to a new data source, SQL Server analysis services, click next. Let's go ahead and click next here. We wait for it. So actually what it's going to do is now connect to analysis service in the background. It's thinking. So we actually, with just a few clicks, we can actually go and now connect to analysis services cube in the background. Normally what we would have done is we'd actually create this data connection, publish it off a SharePoint server. So all the end user has to do is just go to the SharePoint library and choose a data connection that they would need access to. It's thinking. Okay, in the interest of time, I'm going to go back to the thing because I think it's taking, my virtual machine is not behaving as well as it should. So I'm going to go back to the designer and let's go back to the slide. So what I kind of walked you through in the last few minutes is first walking through how we provide a trusted platform with the highest levels of scalability, security, and reliability for your mission-critical applications. A productive platform that enables you to deliver applications much faster to market, and also reduces the time and cost of management of infrastructure. And we also provide a business intelligence platform that enables you to now reach your users with the insights and information they need directly in the tools they use on a daily basis, like Microsoft Office. Actually, what I want to do is actually go back and show you the back to Excel since it's come back. And you can see now you can choose the different cubes that we have in place. Let's go ahead and click Next and click Finish. And let's click OK. So what we have here is right within Excel, you can now actually look at all the different information that we have in analysis services exposed to the end user. So let's go ahead and now look at, say, sales amounts. We have sales here. Let's go to look at internet sales amount. We click on that, it automatically brings the sales amount. Now let's go look at the sales amount, not just across different product categories. Let me delete that. And now let's look at across different product categories right here. You can see single way, we're able to look at that. You can also drill into this information. You can, let's say you want to look at bikes, bike racks, and you can see we also expose all the metadata back from analysis services so users can look at this information directly in Office. Now let's say we want to look at product categories, not just across different sales across different product categories, but also across different fiscal years. And let's choose fiscal year here. You can see we get a snapshot of that. We also can take advantage of all the rich set of formatting capabilities that Excel provides. Let's go and format this data. So you can see with just a few clicks, we can actually show the sales amount across different product categories, also across different fiscal years. We can also leverage the KPIs that we have inside analysis services directly here. So now if you want to take a look at, let's say, return on overall margins, let's go look at that. Let's go back here. Let's bring that out. Let's look at how it actually stats to this trend compared to last year. And you can see with just a few clicks, we can actually look at how we're trending from a revenue perspective to last year compared to this year. We can also look at what the goal was, what the status is for this. You can easily see with just a few clicks. You can actually look at how we are doing across our sales amount across different aspects. So if we now remove sales amount out of the picture, you get a simple dashboard that you can easily now provide to your end user to look at. And you can easily drill in and drill out using both the KPIs of your store analysis services and our rich integration with Excel. So let's go back to the live meeting. And we'll come back here. As we said, we kind of walk you through both a trusted, productive, intelligent platform. I want you guys to give you a quick snapshot of all the different capabilities that we have in the product. We've announced 2 days ago availability of a new CDP 5 over the next few weeks, actually hopefully within the next week or so, which will give us actually a rich, all the different capabilities I just walked through will be available in CDP 5 for you to play around with and adopt this within your organization. From a release schedule perspective, we are launching with our friends in Windows Server and Visual Studio in February of 2008, but we'll actually be releasing the product to market in June of 2008 or Q2 2008. From a next steps perspective, I highly encourage all of you to upgrade to SQL Server 2005. We have a rich set of capabilities in the product you can take advantage of today with SQL Server 2005. The URL link provides a rich set of tools from Upgrade Advisor to best practices on the upgrade experience. We also provide you, I also encourage you to learn more about SQL Server 2008. This past one now is a quick highlight of some of the key capabilities. We have a rich set of white papers, videos, webcasts that you can learn more about our functionalities that we're introducing in SQL Server 2008. And third, I would encourage you to download the latest CTP or Community Technology Preview from the website that enables you now to actually play with the product, adopt it within the product, within your organization, and bring new applications to market faster. With that, I actually will bring up, I would encourage all of you to ask questions using the question manager for me to answer. And let me start off with the first question.
Actually, Ram, let me just step in quickly.
Yeah.
I want to go to the survey slide, which will come up in a minute. The survey really helps us improve the quality of the presentations and gives feedback to Ram. So please take a few minutes to fill out the survey. I'll have it up in just 1 second. If you want to see any upcoming or previously recorded live meeting webcasts, you can go to microsoft.com/webcasts and click on the On Demand tab, and you will be able to view all of those. And if you have any ideas that you would like to see presented as a webcast, please write down this link and send us your request, and we'll try to make that happen. And with that, I'm going to launch the survey slide, and it should come up here in just a moment. Depending on how you registered, click directly on the screen on either registered online or some other way that you registered, and it will launch the survey. And while you're filling out the survey, I'm going to hand it back to Ram to answer your questions.
Thank you. So the first question is SQL Server 2008 completely backward compatible 2005, that the current version of Microsoft package applications can be upgraded 2008 without waiting for a compatibility upgrade. So we're really working with our application vendors to ensure compatibility. What we can say is whether the application will be backward compatible really depends on the application itself. But what we will say is the upgrade experience from SQL Server 2005 to 2008 will be as seamless as possible. And what we really want to do is we think given the upgrade experience from 2000 to 2005, where it was much more of a 5-year lag, and there's a lot of rich functionality we provided in 2005 that was not in 2000. The experience from 2005 to 2008 will be a much more seamless experience and will not really be as much of a bump or a barrier that you face from 2000 to 2005. So really the thing is we suggest is if you move to 2005, moving from 2005 to 2008 becomes much easier for you. The next question is offline synchronization. Basically, is offline synchronization available only to mobile, or can we use it both from Express Edition and other editions? So really, with the offline synchronization, you can actually build your own adapters to use on Express or other local share, and then plug it into a .NET framework, and then it will use the sync services under a thing. So we actually have samples where we've shown how you can use it with SQL Server Express Edition under the covers, and you can now actually use SQL Server Express as a local data store, and then synchronize that with the backend SQL Server Enterprise or Standard Edition. So actually, so the new support for spatial data in 2008 includes PDF files, and if these files are unlocked, can we use Microsoft FTE to search on that? So it's actually not spatial data, but it's actually a new file stream data type that supports PDF files. We don't really, it's not like support just specific for a PDF file, but we actually support any type of document that you have within your organization. So you can store these files in the file system and then manage that through SQL Server 2008. But a key aspect of this thing is once the file is actually stored in the file system, we are integrated with Windows Desktop Search. You can actually use Windows Desktop Search through integrated full text search to actually search these files and bring the results back, and then we can display that back to the end user. So you can actually, so we have a, so once you execute a query, we actually can query that on these document files using the integration with Microsoft Desktop Search, and then retrieve the results and display that back to the end user. So with column level permissions in SQL Server, if you don't have permissions to read the SSN column of a table, but you have permissions to read the rest, if you do a select staff and employee, actually, with the way we work in SQL Server 2008 is the exact way we'll work in 2005. So where in 2005 we enable where you can encrypt a certain column, and you retrieve, and you don't have permission to actually read the data for this column, and you do a select star. We would have the same kind of experience you'll have in 2008 as you have in 2005. So we're not exactly change any of our we've not changed the behavior in that manner. But what we've done with 2008 is actually now provide transparent data encryption. So you can actually encrypt your both database and log files without affecting your end user application. So when will SQL Server 2008 when will SQL Server 2008 support Windows Server 2008? So actually with our CTP5, which we are releasing over the next few days, you will actually have support for Windows Server 2008 out of the box. So we actually will support Windows Server 2008 RC0, which is the latest RC available through CTP5. The next question is, what are table parameters? So that's a new functionality in T-SQL, where basically, let's take the case where we now want to pass quite a few parameters to a stored proc stored in SQL Server. With the new table value parameters, you can actually define a temporary table or define a table and pass that to your stored proc, and then actually add all these parameters directly to that table. You can then pass this table as a container to any of the stored procs within the that you call inside your stored proc. So it really simplifies your development, both from a stored T-SQL perspective and also clients calling this stored proc externally. We actually have a really good virtual lab that if you go to techno.microsoft.com/SQL, where you can actually use this hands-on lab to learn more about table valued parameters. Foundation applications. So the developer edition of SQL Server 2008 will include Visual Team Suite. I think we are shooting for that. As you know, Visual Studio will be releasing the market earlier than SQL Server 2008. So we are working with our friends in Visual Studio, ensuring that once it does come out, we have the right set of bits in the Visual Studio Team Suite. The other part is we'll just Visual Studio Team Foundation use SQL Server 2008. Again, based on a timing perspective, in the marketplace they will support SQL Server 2008 once we do release to the market. So we will have support both on 2005 and 2008. Other questions? Okay, since we have no other questions, I want to thank all of you for coming on the call and learning more about 2008. It was extremely useful for me. And again, please feel free to answer any questions. And actually, the one that's the last question came out is where can I find more? So what I'm going to give you is a URL for learning. So I just sent the URL. So if you go to www.microsoft.com/SQL/2008, We have a learning link that will point you to all the virtual labs that we have in place. With that, I want to thank everybody for attending the call, and again, we'd love for you to go ahead and start downloading the latest CTP and playing around with SQL Server 2008. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Ram. Great presentation. I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's IT Manager webcast. You may now disconnect from the audio portion of this conference.